Okay, good morning, leaders. I hope everyone is well rested from the weekend. Just trying to not have my participants showing so I can focus. But this tab doesn't want to go away. Okay, great. Good morning, amazing leaders. I hope you are well rested from the weekend. My name is Miriam Haufiku, and I will be giving a very short um, just a little short presentation around travel as a business strategy. Just basically giving insight in how traveling can also be a business strategy for us in the business. Okay. So let's maybe just start with understanding what is travel, and then also just for your information, every picture I'm going to use in this presentation is from FBOs, that is Forever Living Business Owners, whether it's from a travel that they made personally or a travel that was sponsored by the company. So everyone you'll see in these pictures is a Forever Living business owner. So just a little insight on understanding what travel is, because some people, when they hear travel, they just think luxury. Travel is basically a movement from one geographical location to another, whether it's between towns, between cities, between countries, or between continents. And it can be for personal purposes, for like maybe visiting family that's in a different town. It can be for work. Maybe you travel with your employment to a different region or a different country, or for business, like in the business where we are, there is a lot of travel opportunities, or just it allows you to travel, or it might need you to travel to a different place, whether it's to launch a new member, or just to attend an event that's happening in that specific location. Or then some people just travel for leisure, just to enjoy, views, see new places and all that. Okay, so here are just three FBOs that I picked out from Instagram that traveled outside Forever Living products. For example, a local travel is like here. Tia is from what we call the Oshivambo tribe, but she visited a new village within Namibia and experienced and explored the culture of one of our indigenous people, actually in the whole world, which is the Ovahimba, and she was able to dress up in their cultural attire and understand their culture. And this is not, she traveled, but it's not outside the country, but she got an experience of a lifetime just being in the presence of these people and understanding their culture. We had just Jessica who went to a new country. I believe this was for personal purposes, or for leisure. It has nothing to do with forever living, but she traveled to a new country. This is Mozambique. And then the last picture, that is me. I traveled once upon a time to China, and it was for it was also work, business type of relations, but not forever living, because by then I was not even doing the business. So it's just to say that um, even outside the business, we must engage in opportunities that allow us to travel. Okay, it opens it expands your vision. You get to see a little bit more. So here we see our lovely 5 a.m. host in Dubai, I believe. Travel really just changes you, it exposes you. And this is just to say, when you travel, your standards increase. You know, the things how you see things is not the way you would have seen them before, because different people in different countries do different things. Simple things like customer service when you go to a restaurant, it's completely different when you leave your country. Sometimes it gets worse and it teaches you patience. Sometimes it's just so excellent that you realize that, you know what, I think when I get back home, I need to get serious about the service I deserve, especially when you are being asked to pay 10%, that tip. Your confidence also increases when you travel, because exposure changes, some like things that you're exposed to change you. The environments that you find yourself change you. So trust me, you will not go to Dubai and not come back with a certain level of confidence. You will not go to even New York City, for example, and not come back with no just that extra level of confidence, whether it's in how you speak or how you see the world or how you even see money, it could be. And it also expands your vision. You know, sometimes we are limited so much into just dreaming as far as we have seen. You can't really, you don't see yourself, let's say, for example, just even um, owning an electric car because you have not traveled to countries where electric cars are a normal thing, you know? So even just to see yourself in certain places or certain levels in your life, you might not be able to see that if you haven't traveled because you are used to what you see at home. So when you expose yourself to things to things and places and people, you know, there are people that let me just grab my alu pictures. Okay. There are people that you meet outside home, outside your home country or outside your hometown that will expand how you see life, expand your vision in terms of how you see your finances. You go to a place where someone buys a car cash, for example. Let's just give an example of Tanzania, for example. We have heard so much in our business that in Tanzania, people don't buy things on credit, they buy it in cash. Imagine living one full year in Tanzania from maybe South Africa where you're used to, you know, everything can be paid. You have options to pay things off. And you live in a different country for a year and it's actually cash based. You come back with a new understanding of finances, with a new discipline of finances, you know. Um, this is also just to say that also when you travel, your network grows. Now, I like to say that your network directly impacts your net worth, how much you are worth, or how much you can be worth. Okay, so your network also grows when you travel because you don't travel in isolation. It's very impossible to travel in isolation unless you are on a mission for maybe, I don't know, maybe a spiritual journey or something. But it's very hard to find yourself that you have traveled and has not expanded your network. When you travel, you now know people who, you now know at least a person from China because you have been to China. When you travel, you now at least know seven people because at the airport you met someone, on the plane you met someone, when you landed at the airport on the other side, you met someone, you know, and sometimes you exchange numbers and your network grows like that. Okay. And then also your language changes. There are words that you will never, ever, ever use in your life if you have never traveled. There are words that there are certain expressions that you will never understand the meaning of until you have traveled. Let's just say, for example, um, there's an auto switch in language when you change. I mean, when you travel. When you are at home and you see a bag, it is a bag. Those are your bags. You know, when they are packed at home and they are in your cupboard or they are standing in your garage or in your storeroom, it is your bag. By the moment you step out of your country or your country specifically, it becomes luggage. You don't say my bags anymore, it's my luggage, you know? But it's very hard to be at home and refer to your bags as luggage. Even if you're going home, maybe you have traveled to the northern side of your country. It's very hard to call those bags luggage. You just say my bags. So there are certain things that also switch. Um, your whole life at home, you take a taxi, but the moment you travel, we start saying your ride is here, you know, ma'am, your ride is here, sir, your ride is here. Or things like just general things like food becomes meals when you travel. When you travel, it's no longer can I use the toilet or where's the toilet, it's where's the restroom, you know? Um, driver, when you travel, your driver becomes someone you call your guide or your chauffeur, but you can never call the person at home. Okay, yes, there are those private chauffeurs, but most of the time when you travel, you will find that you are dedicated a private driver or a guide, a tour guide. All right. Um, Other things, other words is like money. We use money every day, but when you travel, because there's exchange in currencies happening and all that, most of the time you don't you end up asking, do you have cash? Because you need cash when you're in other countries and local currencies. We are going to Dubai in April. Do you know what a dirham is? You know? So will be, do you have dirhams on you or do you have dollars on you? And this is not the words that you use at home. You can never, if you are living in Lusaka, Zambia, there is never a day in your life where you will ask someone, do you have pounds? Unless it's for reasons relating to business or possibility of travel in the near future, you know? So it also changes, like I said, your language. And then once in a while, don't you just want to refer to your room as I'm going to my villa or I'm going to my chalet? These are words that you cannot use unless you are on a travel journey. So like I'm saying, there's just that out of switch that you also just want to experience, you know. Um, so yes, travel does change a lot of things. And some of the things also that travel will do is that it will teach you adaptability. Imagine you being dropped in let's say what country is that? Let's say, for example, Nigeria. I hope we don't have Nigerians here, or even if we do, they'll probably understand how fast-paced, how crowded, how, everything is on the move in Nigeria, how it is. Now imagine you are being put in Nigeria and you are told to operate for a week there. You will have to adopt even to the language. Some people use pidgin language in Nigeria. You have to adapt to the language that they use. You need to adapt to the food. I remember when I went to China, um, someone had told me I should pack either Tabasco, that's the hot chili sauce, or I must pack, there's a special spice we call Kapana spice here in Namibia. So I was advised to pack either Tabasco or Kapana spice because I might not enjoy the flavor of the food. And just adding that little extra uh, um, drop or something can make me adapt better to the food. And I did take Kapana spice, and I did realize that if I didn't take that Kapana spice, I was not going to survive eating food in China. So it teaches you adaptability. It also teaches you communication skills. When you travel to other countries, you have to have your communication on point because that is the one thing that will take you from one place to another. You might travel to countries that do not speak your native languages, or they don't speak English there. So you need to find ways in which you can communicate. Sometimes you'll need to find that you need to download a translation app. Um, where everywhere you go, you are taking pictures and the app translates like where you are, what is written, or you have to speak to the next person through the app. You say your words, they translate in English, you show your screen. Also, just being able to really speak clearly and understand clearly because that's it. Your communication in different countries or when you travel, there's a very thin line between you actually getting to where you want and you getting completely lost. Communication in terms of reading, even writing, even listening or talking, these are skills that what's the word? That travel will teach you. There are certain accents that you might need to pay attention when someone speaks because you won't catch up with the accent. Let's say, for example, you go to India, they speak English, but they speak English with an Indian accent. So you need to be very attentive to what the person is saying for you to understand. All right. Travel also teaches you cultural intelligence. We are in a business where we work with people every day from different cultures. You need to understand because there are certain things in certain cultures that are okay, that is not okay in other cultures. And you might not learn this if you have never left your hometown. You might find that there are places where adults show utmost respect to young people or to people or to children even. And other parts of the world, children must or young people must give the utmost respect to adults. There are some places where age is just a number, and some places where age is not just a number. There are some places where certain things about men is certain things about men, and only men can do. There are certain places where only women can do certain things. All these things are very important, and you will learn this through travel. Um, so it's very important that we expose ourselves to travel because it teaches us some of these things. Also, decision making under pressure. You know, when you travel, you are somehow you're outside your comfort zone, right? You are not at home, and there's certain things that will require you. Let me just see. There's jets. Okay, okay, okay. Now we are together. There are certain things that there's certain you're outside your comfort zone. So you might find yourself that you might be needing to make decisions more than usual. You know, um, flights get cancelled. You might need to quickly make a decision. Okay, fine, we need to sleep, find somewhere to sleep tonight because we can't catch our flight anymore. Or there's a change in weather, for example. It's a new day. There are places like Cape Town. Cape Town's weather, they say it's like a woman, it has mood swings. You can plan your day as it's going to be a sunny day, and Cape Town gives you rainy weather. You now need to make decisions. Are you going to stay indoors, or are you going to just, go for it? All these little things, they build up to skills that are actually business skills. Um, Time discipline. Travel is time and money, basically. That's what I can say. Travel is just about time and how you manage your time and how you manage your money. That will determine what experiences you will have, how long you'll stay there, and everything. And it's also very much, um, there's so much time discipline needed, or that you are taught when you travel, because sometimes, or rather, there's things let's say that you are traveling and there's flights. Flights are time bound, and there's specific times you need to be at the airport, otherwise you'll miss that flight. I remember I missed my first flight. It was a local flight from one town to another in Namibia, and I knew that people need to be at airports 2 hours in advance, but I always thought that's for international um, flights only. So I went there like, I think, 30 or 45 minutes before flight time, thinking, it's just a local trip. I'm moving from Ondangwa to Windhoek. Those international 2 hour things don't work. And actually they do actually work as well. And I was left behind, so it teaches you time discipline. Also, just being able to understand different time zones. Um, Maybe you have traveled to the UK. Okay, UK is not really far from Namibia. Maybe you have traveled to the USA, to the US. You are taught how to adapt being in the US and having it's 8 o'clock in the US, and you need to talk to your mom, who you cannot wake up at 3 a.m. in Zimbabwe, for example. So you need to find ways to, there's just those small little decisions that you need to take to make sure that your time and whoever you want to communicate to in a different time zone actually work. Now, all these things that I'm saying travel teaches you, these are actual business skills. So what I'm saying is, people who have traveled a lot have 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 seen more, have been able to experience more, have been able to practice a little bit more, have been able to gain some of these skills. And these skills are skills that are needed in business. They are business skills. So you're not just traveling for leisure, you are also actually enhancing your skills, the life skills, business skills. Okay. And then now there are certain things that might look like they are not skills, they are not business skills, but I'll tell you that they are invisible skills that you will learn when you travel, but they are so powerful. Things like proper dining etiquette, knowing that this is a fork for dessert and this is a fork for eating dinner. This can be, it can be, let's just say, let me just put it this way. Knowing how to use your fork and knife correctly. We are not saying you cannot learn. You can learn if you're a first timer and you are learning how to eat with fork and knife, whatever, it's fine. But there are certain rooms that when you enter, the people will not tolerate someone who doesn't know that this is a dessert spoon. and they are now having it for using it with the main meal. You already look off. Maybe $1 million deal was supposed to be signed on that table, and there you are, cutting your steak with a butter knife in front of the investor that you need to impress, you know? So like so that you see, it's a skill, it's an invisible skill, it's an invisible life skill. Like you wouldn't think of it as let me invest knowledge in understanding how to use cutlery, but then it's so powerful to just understand some of these things. When you travel, that's when you realize that there's a lot of things that can happen on the table, or you different cultures. You go to a certain country and eating with fork and knife is actually not culturally acceptable. You need to dig in with your hands. These are certain things that you just to come to the level of the people you are with on the table, and to respect the rooms that you are in. So these are certain things that I'm saying travel exposes you to. They might not look like they are business skills, but they are invisible skills that are so powerful and can change a lot in the rooms you find yourself. Um, you also have a way of how you show up. I like this picture of Veronica in the black and white with the beads. Already, it's a very simple, classy, chic outfit, but just the addition of that necklace, it shouts Africa already, It's already commanding attention, but in a very silent or in a very, it's still in an elegant way, but it's shouting something, it's giving out a statement out there, This is someone who's bold. This is someone um who knows what they're about. This is someone who understands their identity. And when you step in the room, before you even open your mouth, you have already introduced yourself. I'm talking about this dress code because I know we get very comfortable at home, you know. So some of us, like for me, the way I dress when I go out of the country is very different from how I dress on my daily at home. So it also just gives you that extra boost of confidence, like I said, to do things that you might not usually do. How you introduce yourself also, travel will teach you that. You are in a room full of, let's say, people from Korea. You will not introduce yourself as Baba, let's say your father's name is Lucas, Baba Lucas' daughter. There is places where you introduce yourself as Baba Lucas' daughter, whether it's at a certain village at home or, in a family meeting. But you cannot be in a room full of people from Korea and you're saying, Baba Lucas. We don't know who Baba Lucas is, you know? So it also just teaches you how to introduce yourself professionally in different settings. There's a saying that says, there are certain, I just forgot, but your identity is, yes, it doesn't change, but there are certain rooms that you need to introduce and present yourself as something or as someone. Give Maybe there's a name that you give at work and the name that you give at home. I don't know. So it also just teaches you. You will know when you are there. So these are just small skills. And then this is just for laughs. You see, when I saw that picture of Veronica in the bathtub, the very first thing I saw is not even the yellow bottles. In my head, I'm just like, why is this bathtub having a tap that looks like a sink? It's like a kitchen sink. So it's a very small detail, but it's eye-opening. It's new, it's modern, it's new. What do you call it? It's new, it's modern, it's a new way of seeing things. I only know this type of taps to be in the kitchens. Now I'm seeing it in a bathroom. It's eye-opening, as much as it might look like it's just a tap, you know. But it's these travels that expose you or expose us to different way of even just how we see little things like a tap. All right. It's very invisible, but it really is eye-opening. Okay. So, um, this is with all that little background I gave, it's just to say you level up with travel. When you stay in one environment for too long, your dreams also shrink. to match that environment. If all you know is Oshakati and you've never actually stepped out to just see Windhoek City, this is all within, like for example, Namibia. If all you know is Congo, is it not Kongoma? What is this Zambian town? Um, I forgot the town's name. But if it's a little town and you have never traveled to Lusaka, you have never left your country just to go even to your neighboring country. We are not saying go fly out. You are Namibian. Have you been to Angola? It does not take you visas and all that to go to Angola. SADC is visa free for all SADC nationals. Have you been to any other SADC country? You know, because this is also accessible via bus. Some places are accessible even via what do you call this? A little, okay, that will be an illegal crossing if you cross from Zambia to Botswana to Namibia using the boat. But you know that just our countries are so close to each other. Have you just taken time to just invest and go and see? For example, in the whole world, there's Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. There's a point where they all meet. You know, you can travel these four countries in one day. In one day, without even overnighting it's like a day trip. You can do that. Have you ever just looked into the possibility of going to see Namibia, Zambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe at the same time in the same day? All right. So if you really haven't, you don't take time. Okay, I'm almost done also. To 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 move out of that environment here and there, your dreams will also just shrink to match what you know. So when you see bigger events, organized conferences, high-level business setups, your standards shift and you stop tolerating average. You stop wasting your time going to events that actually just waste your time and your money. Because now you know where the skills are, you know how rooms that are serious about your skills development, you know how they look like. You get this from traveling. Okay. So let me just ask you this question and you ponder on it. If your business goes international tomorrow, would your mindset be ready? If a person hits your DM and this person is from the UK and they say, I want to start your business, I want to start business with you, is your mindset ready? You know, do you have any idea what when the person in the UK says the London bus, do you have any idea what they're talking about? I have to catch a train. Do you know what they're saying? You know, you have a new downline now that is in let's say Nigeria, and they speak about how the product center is in Lagos and they're in Abuja. Do you have any idea of how far that is or what the different settings look like? Is your mindset ready for your business to go international? You prepare this mindset by travel and also just learning and reading more about other places. You know, sometimes you can also just travel virtually, travel via a book, through watching videos about other countries online or on YouTube, you know. So let's grow our mindset and prepare it for international business. Now, I want to say this to you. Stop waiting to qualify for travels and do it yourself. Visit one new town or city every 3 months. That's within your country. There are tour operators. I am one myself. Tour operators in every country that will do packages for you to travel to different destinations. Save up for that for that package and go out there. I know in Namibia there's a lot of agencies who make travel packages to different places in Namibia and I mean in the world, and you pay on a monthly basis until the day of travel. Invest in one of those and just go, you know. You go and travel in groups. The agent will take care of everything. You are in a group with strangers. You meet them, you recruit them. Okay. And then make it like a goal or a target to attend one event outside your country, whether it's a forever event outside your country, there's Success Day. You can You can look up other success stories in other countries and decide to fly there. Did you know that next year in January, East Africa's Success Day will be in Mombasa? Mombasa, Kenya. Kenya has been on my list for the longest. And when I learned that Success Day is going to be in Mombasa, I'm putting it on my calendar. I'm going to Success Day in Mombasa, Kenya, you know, and have a travel savings. Save for your travels, you know. And when you are traveling, network also intentionally. Now, in Forever Living, I will say this, never miss Global Rally. There's a reason why this Global Rally is also open to people who do not qualify, because Forever understands what happens at these events. And there's a reason why they don't do it in the Dominican Republic year after year after year after year. There's a reason why it's not done at the headquarters year in, year out. There's a reason why Forever decides to take this event to different destinations. It's because they understand what exposure will do to you. So, and they've given room for even non-qualifiers to attend these events. Heather has, for as long as I've been in this business, there's not a global rally that Heather was not there. Okay? Even before she was manager, she was attending these global rallies. So invest. Dubai was already out last year. All of us had an equal opportunity to save and be in Dubai in April. Did you save? Did you plan for it? If you didn't, now Hong Kong is out. We were told on the 1st of January that next year, April, we will be in Hong Kong, and you are not restricted to going there. So make a plan, find out how much the tickets are, where you could stay, and then start saving towards attending Global Rally in Hong Kong next year. So with that, I just want to say, invest in travel. Travel is not about pictures, it's about positioning yourself with all these exposures and all these skills I've spoken about. The more you see, the more you believe. And the more you believe, the more you can build. And when you're building in our business, that translates to earning. And earning is money, and we are in business for this. So, my leaders, thank you so much. See you at the boarding gates. Over to you, Leader Heather.